What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another special Saturday edition, Jesse's Occupational Awareness Show. As always, I'm your host, Jesse. I'm here to tell you guys more stories. That's what you guys come here for. Before we get to that, let me tell you all a little something. I am in an absolute fantastic mood. And let me tell you why. I'm on leave. That's the military equivalent of vacation. I had enough days built up. I needed to actually burn some before they went into excess. So I've got time off from work until September 7th. So there might be some extra videos to follow. Depends on if I get motivated, if I get enough time to myself, which I'm going to have plenty of. May come up with some extra stories for you guys. This was an absolute great week. Took the two chiefs out on the 45-foot boat. I had my oral interview, which we call a board, as well as my check ride. Passed both of them. So now, certified instructor on the 45. Man, life is good. But let's get to some of the not good here. We're going to turn a negative into a positive, okay? Today, we're going to talk about old Jones. Now, I don't know why. I woke up earlier today and I was thinking about, should I do the video Saturday or Sunday? What kind of topic do I want to do? Last video I talked about reflecting on the good times. I got to thinking, man, Jones was never a part of that. And I don't think I really explained what it was about Jones that just really irked me, or why in so many previous videos it's motherfucker Jones. And he was a supervisor. He was in between the lieutenant and the corrections officer. I'm not going to refer to him by that rank because I have the most respect for that rank. So that title is not going to be attached to his name coming out of my mouth. That guy is absolute living proof that if you want to be a supervisor at TDC, at least then, I hope it's changed, pretty much all you had to do was be able to breathe. But that's the only way that fat piece of trash ever made it there. So, old Jones, how did I know him? Well, I don't remember which video it was that I did our recap, but we had a lot of past history with each other. And it started off pretty good, okay? The first time I met Jones was in 1997. I worked at a Pizza Hut as the cook. All right, he was a delivery driver. He was a real upbeat guy. Now at TDC, he was a fat piece of trash. As if not making eye contact is going to make that any better. There was never a skinny version of Jones, okay, at all. But back in 1997, working at the Pizza Hut, he was stocky, but he wasn't near what he was at TDC. And he had a good personality. He was real upbeat. He was funny. He would have been like the mix of the class clown and the glory hound individual. He liked being the center of attention. He was just real funny to be around, I guess is the best thing that I could say. And I enjoyed when he was in the place. He'd always cut up jokes and we'd laugh and crack, and it was a good time. Well, I ended up quitting there in 1998, graduated high school, joined the Marine Corps. Okay, life went on from there. Never thought about the guy from that point. Hired on at TDC, did my training, got assigned at the Styles unit. Ended up running into the guy when I was working in the property room with Officer Bro. Miss Bro, she was good stuff, all right? Inmates absolutely hated her because she did her job, and she was good at the job that she did. Pause for hydration. I'm on leave, so this is okay. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. So, I'm doing my OJT, and I'm in the property room with Miss Bro. And we're taking inventory. We're sacking stuff up. And, God, I can't call him by that rank. And one of the supervisors walks in. He's wearing a polo shirt, the gray trousers. I'm doing this like y'all can see what I'm doing. The gray trousers with the stripe down at his boots, and he's got his clipboard with paperwork on it. And he starts talking to her, okay? And I'm sitting over on the middle of the room, and I'm inventorying guy's property, checking stuff off on it. Excuse me. And he finally introduces himself. God, this is really hard without saying the guy's rank. He says, hey, how you doing? I'm Jones. You OJT? I looked over at him. Again, can't say his rank. Hey, how you doing, Jones? I'm Officer Carter. And we looked at each other, and he goes, Carter? Seen you somewhere before. And I looked at him and I said, Jones. Yeah, I think I remember. And almost simultaneously, almost with maybe a second in between, it was, you work at Pizza Hut? Both of us. And the words overlapped each other where we couldn't understand it. And I went, say again? He said, you work at Pizza Hut. I was like, you worked at Pizza Hut. And we laughed. I went over, freaking gave him a handshake, pulled him in, bring it in together, hug. Okay, what's going on, man? What the fuck are you doing here, dude? Oh, I've been working here for a couple of years now. Ranked up a little bit here. Yeah, this is what I'm doing now, man. When did you leave Pizza Hut? I don't remember what year he told me he left. It wasn't too long after I had left. He started there in 1990. No, okay. Back it up. He graduated in 1994. He was in the Army for 3 years. Got kicked out. Okay, pretty tough to get kicked out of the Army, especially in that time. Got kicked out in 3 years. And in 1997, that's when he had taken his job at Pizza Hut. So that's how that history sped itself up to that. So we talked a little bit, caught up, and I'm like, man, if you're working here in SIG, I gotta be here, dude. This is just such a small world, man. This job's just getting greater and greater. All right. I had my good times in the academy. I had a phenomenal time at OJT. I really enjoyed it. Man, I was ready to just, I'm not going to say the words that just came to my mind. You can pretty much imagine what it was if you've seen any of my other videos and the relationship I had with inmates. Let's fuck some guys up. So yeah, I'm like, dude, if Jones here is working SIG, I gotta get to SIG. So that was one of the things that motivated me when it came time for what kind of shift did I want to be on. Man, I wanted to be there at SIG. I wanted to be working with Jones. Ready to just tackle this place, take it down. Fast forward to it. All right. It wouldn't take long once I was assigned to SIG to realize the awful relationship that Jones had with the inmates and that he had with the other COs. I think it was the first shift that I was on, probably by the third day, when Jones would walk in. Man, the senior officers that sat in the back, not going to use their names, the senior officers that sat in the back, they would just start making comments and making noises. Just any little thing they could do. Silent insubordination is what we would call it, except they had taken it a step above silent insubordination and just snide little snarky ass comments like we're back in high school or some shit, and just jabbing at the guy. And I'm like, well, what the hell what are they doing this for? I'm brand new, I didn't know my place yet, so I'm just sitting there being quiet, taking my little notes in turnout, getting ready to get my shift assignment. And I noticed that anytime Jones would come into one of the pods, man, the pod would erupt. You'd usually hear this old raspy-ass voice off to the side, out to the distance. Get your fat ass out of here, Jones. Hey, Jones. Jones, ever get your fat ass out of here, you son of a big motherfucker. And it would just go on and on from there. My God, why the hell do these guys hate him so much? Well, there were quite a few little altercations that he and I would get into when I realized why. Jones was a petty-ass supervisor. Okay, I've talked about the cases that I write. And those of you that were guests of the state, y'all can call me petty all you want to. Hey, whatever. You had your job to do. I had my job to do. All right? And I was pretty fucking good at it, too. Yeah, I'd write those little cases. And most of the time they would stick because I was good at what I wrote. Jones, he'd do the same thing. The problem was he wouldn't side with the inmates. He wouldn't side with the officers. He sided with himself all the time. Anything that benefited him, he would use it to try to get over on. When he would come in to do his rounds, if you had forgotten to sign your post orders while you were working the picket, if you were carrying the bean tool in your hand and not securely fastened to your belt where it was supposed to be when you were making rounds, he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't do a verbal counseling. You just get paperwork followed up on you. You come in on the next shift, and whatever supervisor was there assigned to it, there you were signing for your write-up. And every single one of them, I would appeal every one. I didn't like carrying the bean tool from my belt because the damn thing beat me in the leg while I'd walk around, so I kept it in my hand. I didn't care if it looked like I was about to club somebody upside the head. I'd carry the thing around. So we had our clashes with that. The one that really set me off, where I really thought it was absolute petty, there were 3 color undershirts that we were allowed to wear. Black, one of my viewers, thank you for adding to it, navy blue was the second color. I don't remember the third one. Please help me out here. It wasn't white, okay? We couldn't wear anything white. No white undershirt, no white socks. Inmates wore white. All right. Got to stay hydrated. My voice will die down. So I don't remember the third color. I do know charcoal gray was not one of them. I wore Under Armour shirts. Under Armour shirts were really good. They wouldn't stick to you like cotton would. It would wick the sweat away. Problem was they would stink once you got nasty. Oh my God, they would stink. If you try to get day 2 out of an Under Armour shirt, man, there's just no way about it. I bought a bunch of charcoal gray undershirts when I was in the academy. Made it all the way through the academy. Didn't have a problem with it. All right, nobody said anything. Coming on shift one morning, I'm sitting there in turnout room. Jones, Lieutenant Raymond, they're getting ready to do their shift briefing. Lieutenant Raymond starts doing his thing. He gives his shift assignments pretty early on. And from there, a lot of times instead of doing a briefing, we just kind of sit and bullshit with each other or just pass the time until it was time to get over on the pot. And Jones decides he wants to do a class. I want to ask everybody a question here. I'm playing Jones. I'm sorry, I'm not. Anyway, I'm playing Jones. I want to ask everybody a question here. What color shirts are we allowed to wear? I don't remember the first one. Black, navy blue. Those are the 3, all right? Is charcoal gray black? At that point, I'm realizing, is this directed at me? Okay. And Miss Sorrell in the back, she's like, Joan, you know damn well gray ain't black. They don't look nothing alike. Just like the one you wearing up there. And the room kind of chuckled, and Jones reaches and grabs it and goes, you're right. I wore this today to prove a point. Charcoal gray is not black. Officer Carter, what color undershirt do you have on? Charcoal gray. Is that an authorized color that we're allowed to wear at TDCJ? No. Why are you wearing it today? And at that point, I had had enough. Like, well, you know something? Why are you wearing it? I wore mine today to prove a point. We're not allowed to wear this kind of color. We shouldn't be wearing it. I've noticed you wearing it, and it's not right for anybody. And Sorrell in the back, man, God love her. He's like, oh man, that's a bunch of bullshit, Jones. You know damn well you fucked up. You wore that thing today not knowing, and you got caught on it. And now all you trying to do is pick on Carter there, trying to make an example. You just trying to save face on yourself. You ain't doing nobody no good. And the room erupted. So it turned a situation of him trying to fix one of his screw-ups by turning it on to me. Needless to say, when I got done with shift that day, I never wore another charcoal gray shirt from there. I ended up at the next, that was the 3rd day, 4th day. I wore whatever color it was, I can't remember. It wasn't green. I know that. But I wore whatever color I was allowed to do. And that first day off that I had, I went to Academy and I bought nothing but navy blue shirts. Navy blue and black ones. Okay. I didn't have a whole lot of black ones. Black was real popular Under Armour for whatever reason. Navy blue, not so much. Maybe that's why we were allowed to wear it. Someone please, please, please comment and tell me what the three were. Black, navy blue, help me here. After that, when I realized how petty that dude was, I'm like, man, this motherfucker here, he ain't good for nobody. And a write-up followed on it. What did I do? I wrote his ass up. Yep. They ended up canceling each other out. They got to Lieutenant Raymond. Lieutenant Raymond's like, nah, this ain't even going to Captain. No, not even a thing. You two need to back off, need to separate. Yeah. That was when that relationship started going downhill from there. The next one that we had, I'm not going to get into it in this video. I wish I could remember the officer's name I was walking with. Tall, stocky dude. Good dude. We typically had good times with each other. This is when D-Pod had completely turned against me. And I couldn't go in D-Pod without it just absolutely erupting. And he and I were trying to work it, and it was shitty. And we're calling for supervisor assistance. Slots are jacked. Man, inmates are hanging from cells. We're calling for assistance, and it's just not coming. And come close to the end of shift, we're supposed to have all the inmates put away. We didn't have all of them put up. And Jones comes in. And the first things Jones says, how'd y'all let this happen? And I'm like, And Jones says, well, let's fix this. And he starts walking around with us, making the rounds. And it just went absolute worse. It was absolute pure chaos. Night shift ended up having to help us put those guys up because when Jones got there, it just went absolutely worse. But that's a story for another time. Folks, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you didn't, please tell me. Some of you are really good at that. If you did, let me know. I'm going to be enjoying my time off here at the house. I'm going to stay out of the summer heat. Going to get done what I can here around the house. Try and come up with some extra stories for you guys. See what I can get out on here. I appreciate every single one of you. Take care. Stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Out.